Welcome to the RAPodcast. I'm your host, Shootsy, and today, you guys, I am joined by a very special guest. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome to the Gaming Chef.
Greetings and salutations.
Thank you so much for being here, Chef. I appreciate it. I know that I've been looking forward to speaking with you for a long time. We have some like sets that we've both played and shared some frustrations on, so I'm excited to talk to you, man. Uh, so I prepared some questions for you, so we'll dive right into those. Starting off, we always like to talk with our guests about how they got started on retro achievements because it seems like everybody has kind of an interesting story about where they came from and what they were doing before they got going with things. So tell me a little bit about how you got started with retro achievements. How did you discover it?
Well, I think it was one night I was just surfing around on Twitch, and I was watching Shroomy, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? And it's like, okay, I'm like, dude, what's up with this game you're playing? People are going, all right, popping. It's like, what's popping? And he's like, oh, dude, it's a thing called retro achievements. And I'm like, retro achievements? Please tell me more. I mean, I collect a lot of old video games, so it's like retro achievements. This sounds like it could be quotated fun. Boy, was I in for a treat.
Yeah, for sure. It's so that's interesting. Okay, so you were watching Shroom and got into it, and that's how you discovered it. Because I've watched him quite a bit as well, and it's always interesting to hear about just where somebody heard about it from. And he is also a friend of mine. I host him once in a while when I did stream in the past. So, um, what is the appeal of retro achievements for you? What kind of keeps you going with it?
That's a good question. Sometimes I'm even myself unsure why I'm doing this. But then it's like, nah, we're too far in. We can't stop. That's just stupid. So it's really like going back, playing the games I played as a kid and finding a new twist to it. Like I grew up with Castlevania 3, so when I saw that Castlevania 3 had achievements, it's like, ooh, okay, all right, all right. We grew up with this. Let's see how much we can take apart our favorite game.
Yeah, for sure. I think I have kind of the same mentality with it because a lot of the games that's kind of where I started on retro achievements when I was initially getting into it is just kind of like played a lot of the games I was really familiar with and got to see what people were able to come up with to challenge me and play the games in ways that I had never played them in the past before. And these days it's more of a kind of just play whatever. Since I've gone through, unfortunately, quite a few of the titles that I started or played growing up as a kid. But it's always fun to have that replay value. I guess would be the way to put it on these titles that we've probably played half a dozen, couple dozen times over the years or when we were growing up as kids.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
yeah, for sure. Do you have any specific goals on RA, like ranking wise, or what you're currently working towards that you want to share with our audience?
Well, I'm usually around the top 300 mark. So I mean, I only got like a little over 50 batches, I think. So I'm not too sure. I mean, I just work on what I feel like will be good and try to build the character. Like I'm. Oh God! Even though there's hell coming on this, I'm currently playing this Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past Master Quest. Ooh, that's got some challenging stuff in it, and it's really building. So I'm liking the challenging parts of it. So that's good for RA.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're just kind of focused on that at the moment, and not any like long term open ended goal, but top 300 is kind of where you're sitting currently. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
So
I mean, if I go somewhere, I go somewhere. I mean, it's all about. I mean, do I? like Game Squad. I mean, he is number one on RA. So it's like that's do we I don't want to really strive for too much, because that's a lot of pressure. Because then it's like, damn it, I gotta keep at this. I just can't slack off whenever I want to. So oh,
Yeah. No, I can totally respect that. I mean, I for a long time was had certain competitive goals, and at this point I've kind of reached most of them, so I wouldn't say I'm slacking, but I don't have any aspirations necessarily to be number 1 or to gain any more ranks at this point. I kind of just play whatever I want. I famously always say on the podcast that, it's just about having fun with the site. And ranking up has always been a fun thing for me and kind of seeing where I stand among the top players. But at the same time, I just kind of like you, I have that mentality of, if things go good and I'm getting ranks, that's awesome too. But I also kind of just like to enjoy the site for non-ranking purposes recently, and I found that that's that is currently how I'm getting the most enjoyment out of it. So I'm just kind of continuing down that path. So that being said, all of us kind of have different ways that we determine what we're actually going to play next when we do complete a title. So how do you decide what game to play next on Retro Achievements?
you should be told. I really don't even know what I'm going to play next. I mean, I've got a lot of games that I've started and just haven't finished in my completion progress bar. Usually, I'm like I said, I'm a lot of the times I'm just chilling out in Game Squad's channel watching him badge stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I'm playing Master Quest. So thanks, Max. It's yeah,
For sure. No, I mean, uh, I can understand that, and sometimes it's kind of just like, this title looks good. This is what I'm interested in doing, and you try the title out, and you just don't end up liking it or feeling like you can stick with it. And there are titles where I've made it, 50% or 75% through the achievements, and I'm just like, I don't really know about like a 1cc or like. A full deathless run, but
right,
I've
right.
been yeah. So there's definitely moments I can relate to that for sure.
And it's kind of like my trying to badge Dragon's Lair on the NES thing. It's like, yeah, I got about 9 chivos out of it, but do I really have the patience or the times? And will I have a heart attack trying to finish the badges game?
Right, right. Yeah, that's always a tough thing, and I'm somebody that sometimes I kind of just like look at a whole set and just make sure if I really want to go for the badge, if there's anything in there that's gonna completely throw me off or going to take a lot of time just to kind of mentally prepare if it's something I am willing to commit to. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Obviously it depends on the title and a number of other factors. But I think that you put it in a really interesting light. So, um, what would you say are some of your favorite achievement sets that you've played on Retro Achievements?
Ooh, well, definitely, of course, the Castlevania for the Nintendo. Because I mean, like I said, growing up, Castlevania 3 was like the first Castlevania game I was introduced. So with the RA page, that's like Castlevania 1, 2, and 3 having Chivos, and it's like, oh, all right, well, shoot. I mean, that's my childhood. I might as well badger him. And then when Smelloff came out, I think I said that right. Smelloff came out
Yeah,
with
I think
with
that's right.
Japanese 3 set. It's like, and I was watching Game Squad do it. And I'm like, well, shite. Well, time to get this one. That. Oh, good job. He did a great job on that. I mean, that challenged. I hate pacifists, but he did a good job on it. It was good.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I hear a lot of high praise for Schmelloff with those sets, and while they are challenging, they seem to really put the best out of players and demand for the best. And I think a lot of people are grateful that he puts in a lot of hard work and thought into those sets. And also, personally, not a fan of pacifist achievements, although sometimes they can be kind of interesting and kind of make you really have to think like how in the world am I honestly going to do this. Like I did one a while back for, I think it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, I want to say, for Game Boy, where if you bump into enemies it kills them. And so that's fine. Most of the enemies in the level you can just jump over, but there's one spot where there's an infinite spawn, so you have to do like
Ooh.
this, yeah, you have to do like this crazy like uh this crazy jump that you have to time perfectly and just slowly keep moving to the right on the screen so that the frames are better and better until you eventually hit that sweet spot where you can just jump in between the two infinite spawns and just clip
Hmm.
by. So pacifist
Very,
is, yeah.
uh, very sneaky, sir.
Yeah, for sure. So um what would you say are some of the greatest challenges, chef, that you have overcome in your retro achievements journey? So are there any particularly hard achievements individually, or just achievement sets that stand out to you that you've been successful at?
Oh, um, the RNG at the end of freaking Earthbound. I played that for, I'm gonna be, geez, weeks trying to get the gutsy bat till I just shelved it. I'm like, I'm done. Screw this. And then couple of what was it? Maybe a couple of weeks ago, I came back to it, and like four fights, and it finally dropped. And I'm like, oh, oh my god, it's over. so that was, oh my god, that was, oh, just, oh Lord, yes.
Yeah, I God, there have been so many moments like that. I know for me and for all of my teammates here on the podcast about just having those insane moments where you're just like, "Oh my god, thank God it's over." And it's almost like a little bittersweet, right? There's the emotion of going through an achievement set and being on a really tough achievement and just being stuck on it and wishing it was over. But then when it's over, it's almost like, what do I do now? A little bit. You have
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of
oh yeah.
feeling. So it's definitely a lot of highs and lows, especially with those difficult achievements. And funny story. So a while ago, a friend of mine, Gonzalez, 323 Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
Yeah, he so he I was working on Narc, No One Had the Guts.
Oh yeah, I got that.
Yeah, and this is so he sends me the video of you killing Mr. Big Deathless.
Jesus.
And I can say cuz I did that set a while ago, and when I was on that achievement I clipped it in my heart rate. This is back when I was streaming and I had like a heart rate monitor, and my heart rate after getting it hit like almost 200, and I'm just freaking out the whole time. And I was like thinking to myself, man, me and Chef had pretty similar reactions on that. That was a tough. Mr. Big Deathless was such a, oh man, that was a rough one. So
That was another game I grew up with. It's like, Narc, sure, yeah, all right. And it's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
oh wow, you actually, okay, so you actually grew up with that title. I did not know that. I've seen the clip of you beating Mr. Big Deathless, and it is fantastic. Like shout outs to Gonzalez for sending me that.
I
So
don't even know that. I don't even know if I knew that he clipped that.
I can probably fish it up and send it to you, and then what I can do is I can send you my clip as well, and we can we can have a side by side.
Sounds good.
So, that being said, I know we talked a little bit just about not liking pacifist achievements, but there any type of achievements that you like, and then any other ones that you don't particularly like?
Well, I can tell right off the bat that the ones I don't like, speed running. I'm sorry. I'm not a speed runner. The I think the only real game that I badged because I enjoyed it as a kid. Yeah, I know, right? Was Rambo for the Nintendo. I watched a video with that. I'm like, yeah, I can do that jump glitch thing. That's a speedrun I could do. Whatever. Ones that I do like. Hmm, color a dinosaur.
Color dinosaur, solid choice. Who does not love to color dinosaurs on retro achievements? Let me ask you that. No, but uh,
And
you,
another one I'm going to say, even though you can't show it if you're going to stream it, is the pachinko games that they got some out there. Those are fun because it's mindless and I just gotta shoot balls into holes.
yeah, shooting balls in holes. I mean, I know Pachinko 2 just came out not too long ago. I mastered Pachinko 1, and yeah, like you said, obviously can't stream it for content reasons, but
Exactly.
still a fun little mindless game to
It is.
get a few points and kind of chill for a bit. Um, but yeah, going back to your point on speedrunning, as some of the folks know that have been listening to us for a while, speedrunning achievements are among my least favorite types of achievements. I don't have anything uh, against speedrunning per se. It's just anytime I'm under time pressure, I always just feel so I don't do well under time pressure. I
Oh
do
yeah,
well
definitely.
under yeah, I do well under almost all kinds of pressure. And there are some sets that I mastered that have uh do have speed run stuff involved in them. So it's not like I'm just completely averse to it. It's just when I see that in a set, if I was, for example, previewing a set, that would probably be one of the things I'm just like, this probably isn't the right set for me or the right
Yeah,
title for me.
same thing. It's one of the reasons why I mean, it's conflicting because I grew up with Metroid 2, so it's like not Metroid 2, but Metroid also. Sorry. And it's like I want to get the Metroid badge, but then again, it's like I gotta get. You want me to get the best ending with the speed run? It's like, please.
Yeah, one of these days I may go for because I did grow up with the Metroid 2 for the Game Boy, and I've always wanted to master it, but unfortunately there's I think three different endings you can get, and there's like a 3 hour speed run, which a lot of people have told me this is just really not that bad, especially with a map, but I think that's something that I have to really think about before I dive into it. At the very least, I could probably give it a shot because it's been a while, and
I think Gonzalez recently did that one was the
he
speed
did.
run.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
he, he let me
He's a
know.
madman, dude.
Yeah, I know, right? He let me know. He
He's
came in and was like, "Hey, I got speed run done." I'm like, "Freaking nice!"
yeah, he's a very talented player. So yeah, I think I was looking. I'm always looking at my friends' profiles and seeing what they're doing. And
Oh,
yeah,
definitely,
he's been playing a lot of Game Boy and like Donkey Kong Country and things like that recently. So
boy.
um,
I think I got him to badge Aladdin, and then I also got him to badge Joe. I got him to badge Joe and Mac on the SNES, and he's like, "Hey, I like Joe and Mac." And then he badged Joe and Mac too. He's like, "Yeah, don't go for that one."
yeah, Joe and Mac. I still need to do the Game Boy version of that at some point. But I remember playing it once and thinking, "Oh my god!" But I usually have that "Oh my god" thought with a lot of Game Boy games that I play. And this month is kind of an interesting month just because of a lot of Game Boy sets are going and getting revisions. So I've been a very busy person lately with
Hmm,
enjoying the new and improved Game Boy sets that have been coming out, or revised rather, not coming out fresh games.
right.
Um, how has achievement hunting changed the ways in which you approach games? Would you say?
Hmm. Well, instead of just mindlessly just playing them, I mean, and now it's got to thinking of strategies and stuff because normally I'm just when before RA I just play it, just not even thinking about it, and now I got stuff going on um like on Chrono Trigger. I mean, just play the game, not even paying attention to anything, and then and now with RA, it's like, okay, so you passed up the jet bike race. We feel you didn't get enough out of it, so please get 1,700 points. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. So it's spending a little extra time on things that people normally just one and done, like don't even pay attention. Like it's just a mode to get across the wasteland quicker.
Right, right. No, for sure. I think that's a big thing is just, when you're in achievement hunting mode, you can't be, if you want to be successful, you can't be mindless about what you're doing. And then I would say that the meta to that, or the top level thinking of that, is how many achievements can I concurrently knock out in this one run, or can I do achievements overlapping based on the conditions of what the achievements are asking me to do.
Right? And
And
and we found out that in one of the new Mega Man X hacks that no, if you beat a boss and if you do it damages, I think it was that they don't pop at the same time. It's like ah.
yeah, that can be rough. I think a lot of the times, thankfully nowadays, the achievements do, like, a hard mode will stack with just the normal mode, just because in theory, if you've done the hard mode, then the normal mode wouldn't be a problem for you in reality.
Oh, definitely.
So I think that it's kind of nice that seems to be pretty matched across the board. Like, for most achievement sets, yeah, that's how it is set up. But I mean, it can always be tough too, because I've talked a little bit about this before, but um, there are times when you're just trying to do too many achievements at once, and you end up getting none. You know what I mean? Like, you spread yourself so thin trying to do a damage list on top of a weapon, a default weapon, on top of a no power ups or something like that. This is just an example,
Oh
hypothetically,
no,
but
no, no. I'm doing that in Master Quest. Yeah, I understand.
yeah. Um, and it's really easy to fall into that trap, especially when you're somebody that's not as, I mean, I don't know if experienced is the right word, but like, I have those times on retro achievements where I feel like I have to pull back a little bit and just do things, achievements individually, or just do two of the four or five that could be done for a boss when it is that elaborate, just so that I actually end up getting some, and then I'm not wasting more time by trying to stack all these different achievements and be um too efficient,
Oh,
because
definitely,
there's,
definitely. I mean, sometimes, you're just not at tier god level to do everyone on the boss all at once. I mean, sometimes you have to go back, like, okay, I can get these, but let's come back later and get the other ones. We're okay.
yeah, yeah, it's just it's kind of a, I don't know if it's a tip I'm giving people, but it's more just like, don't fall into that trap where you're just trying to stack too much stuff at once because you think you're biting off more than you can chew, so to speak.
Oh
So
yeah,
easy trap to fall into, even for the best of us, right?
definitely.
So, what would you say that you're most proud of on your journey on retro achievements? I mean, you've been a member for, it looks like just about 3 years. So, what would you say that you're most proud of accomplishing throughout your time playing on the website?
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, I think I got a few that I've felt really good about. Like I said, Earthbound was good. I'm happy that for my Castlevanias. Castlevania One, killing Dracula, damageless. That felt like a big achievement. I had to learn how to manipulate his Cookie Monster form, so that was nice. Hmm.
Yeah, Castlevanias can be definitely really tough. I've played a little bit of the Game Boy ones, but I have watched a lot of Castlevania between, Max and a few other streamers, and it's a genre I think eventually I'll break into, but I didn't really grow up with much Castlevania as a kid, so I think it'll just take some time. Mainly I'm focused on just beat 'em ups and fighting games as of late, because that is a couple of my favorite genres that I would say I'm uh, little bit stronger at. But I can see, I watch Castlevania. It's like I think I would really enjoy this genre. I just have to kind of break into it slowly and do like maybe the easiest one, and then kind of transition into it and learn a little bit more about the game, because I know that, I mean, for the most part, just about every Castlevania game is fantastic. I
Oh
know
yeah,
the
definitely.
achievements. Yeah, I know the achievement sets for a lot of them are extremely brutal, but that's the kind of achievements that um I would realistically enjoy anyway, because like I said, I'm not too focused on rank these days. So if I only get a couple, if I only get 500 points for the whole week, then it doesn't really bother me at the end of the day, as long as I feel like I'm doing something and I'm having a good challenge. That's really what it's all about.
Definitely.
So
No, I don't. I don't. I just want to say I don't think I've really have gone into the realm of brutal games yet. I think the most of the games I've played so far have been pretty decent. I mean, maybe a little jank along this the Beetlejuice that I did. I think the brutalist I've been doing right now, like I said, is this Link to the Past Master Quest. So that's that's as brutal as I've gone so far. The brutalist game I've played so far has been Ghost and Demons, but that doesn't have a set, thank God.
yeah, and that's another thing is you never know when a title that you like will end up getting a set, because there are so many sets coming out all the time that it's only a matter of time before you're lucky, and you end up getting that title that you enjoyed. And every once in a while it happens for me. It's not too often, because like I said, I've gone through a lot of the titles that I played as a kid already, unfortunately. But when it does happen, you just kind of have that yes moment where you're just like, I know what I'm doing for the rest of my Thursday, Friday, or whatever. You just have your plan set up and you're ready to go and to enjoy it. So
Oh, definitely. I'm still over here waiting for my werewolf, the last warrior. that
okay, what system is that for, that title?
that is Nintendo Entertainment.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, it's people speculate that it was going to be a like a Wolverine game, but then they must have got the license. Like, no, we're not going to be able to do that, and they just changed it into like a side scrolling platformer of some hero trying to fight a scientist trying to take over the world, and he turns into a werewolf with blade hands. It's pretty fun, difficult,
Gotcha.
but it's still fun.
Yeah, speaking of Wolverine, I see that you have mastered Wolverine for NES. I think I'm like halfway through that set. I picked it up and put it down a while ago, just because I vaguely remember if you touch enemies, your health just starts like draining. It's not like iframes in that game. Your health just starts draining and draining and draining. So
Well, that's only I think that's only when he's got his claws out. So
okay, that might
yeah,
be it. Yeah,
yep.
yeah. But I remember, yeah, some of those nest sets are really brutal, but they do provide a great challenge to the player. So there's kind of a double edged sword there. Speaking of kind of what um, genres and systems we like the most, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. So what would you say is your favorite game genre? And then on the flip side of that, what would you say is your least favorite game genre?
Hmm. I'm not really much of a puzzler, so the puzzle games I stick away from a little bit unless unless puzzles are in the game, sort of like Lufia or Lufia 2. So the puzzle RPG aspects, I'll do those. Um, Yeah, I mainly got a lot of RPGs also, so I like those kind of genres. Of course, with the platforming, I mean, I got the Double Dragons, and then we got like I don't know, the Jurassic Park for the Super Nintendo. Those weren't too bad. So, but it's mainly a lot of platforming and RPGs for me.
Okay, yeah, both are excellent genres. And you mentioned
Hmm.
puzzling, and puzzle is it's kind of it's kind of weird because you'll have these games that are action, but they'll have puzzle elements. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
So I, as long as it's not full on puzzle, I mean, there are a few rare puzzle games that I enjoy, but as long as it's not full on puzzle and there's these action games that have some puzzle elements, I don't really mind that too much in that sense of it, If
Oh, of
it's
course.
action.
There's a reason why I believe yeah. There's a reason why I'm number one for the Shadowgate 64 game. It's a big puzzle, but I freaking like that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't actually played the 64 one. I remember back when it might have been because it was achievement of the week, but a bunch of people were doing the Shadowgate for Game Boy Color. But yeah, I've been curious about that Shadowgate 64 cuz I it's been a while since I played a good N64 title.
I
Um
yeah, 60 the Shadowgate 64, I would say yes, pick that up, enjoy it. Don't focus on RA if you're on it. Just sit back, enjoy it. Just let it consume you and go, "Wow, that was freaking awesome."
yeah, sometimes it's fun to just pick up a game and not necessarily think too much about it and kind of just see how far you can get into it and see what the game is all about. Admittedly, at this point, because I am so achievement oriented, I usually check out a long play video a lot of the time just to see if I feel like it's a game I'm even going to enjoy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Rather than get it set up and then get into it and then I'm just like, this isn't for me. But most of the time, I found even if I just watch a minute of the long play, I'm like, I could probably get into this game. So, do you kind of switching gears here, do you have any rivals on retro achievements or people who you compete against to kind of stay above their site rank and use that as a motivation to keep playing, or do you kind of just you do you?
No, no, I just do me, I mean, if there's any rivals out there that look at me as a rival, please let me know. I will give you a challenge if you want one. Hooah!
All right, well, let it be known that the gaming chef has publicly stated on the official retro achievements podcast he's looking for a challenger. So challenge this guy. So um uh, if you could only choose one genre, so it sounds like for you it might be between RPGs and platformers. Um, what would you choose between the two of those? Do you think
Role playing. I
role
mean,
playing?
it
Okay.
is hands down. Since growing up, I was more RPG heavy than anything. Um, my game collection pretty much ends at like PS1, PS2 because there I don't think there's really been an RPG that I've been interested in playing that they've come out with. So I know people will be like, dude, but they got more Final Fantasy games out, and it's like, I know, but Final Fantasy was supposed to be done on the NES, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, for me, in my personal collection of games and systems, the most modern system that I have is a PS2. Um, I don't have any systems beyond that, just because I've been a retro enthusiast for a long time. I mean, I've been emulating games for over 21 years at this point. I started when I was like 8. So, I just have a real hard time breaking into modern games. I don't think there's anything wrong with them,
Oh
modern
no,
titles,
definitely.
but and to get a little more pinpoint specific with my questions, if you could only choose one, what would you say is your all-time favorite game?
Mm. Ah,
I ask the tough questions on this show. Believe me, I know.
I I do like me some Final Fantasy 3. 3, not 6, 3.
Solid choice. Solid choice. Okay.
I know that's gonna blow people's minds. Like, no, it's 6, 6.
Yeah, because of no, yeah, I mean the whole Japanese versus USA setup for the Final Fantasies. People always get into that and get confused.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. Do you have a favorite video game console?
Hmm. I do like of course, the Super Nintendo because they also have the Breath of Fires.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get into I need to get a bit more into some of the RPGs that you mentioned. One of my goals eventually, since it is where it all started, is to do the original Final Fantasy for NES. The set is not particularly crazy from
Oh
what I
no,
know.
nope, not at all. We got that.
Every battle is about 10 minutes or more, but um, it's a genre that I've always wanted to, or not a genre, but a title rather, that I've always wanted to get into. I just like I've played. I mean, I've played maybe the first hour of it, but
Right. The only challenging part on that is if you're under leveled and you go up against the. I know it's got different names. The War Mech.
yeah, yeah. The war mech. I'm very. I actually have that as a tattoo, so I'm very familiar with that. That. I guess 'cause I don't know what you would call it in its lore, but it's been in a lot of the Final Fantasy games.
Oh yeah,
So and
definitely.
Final Fantasy uh, has always been one of my favorite series. So I thought, why the heck not? Let's make it permanent. So,
Right,
but
right. In Final Fantasy 3, I'm pretty sure that the War Mech is actually renamed of the Guardian. So,
yeah, yeah. In Final Fantasy Legend for Game Boy, it's called just Machine is its name.
machine.
Uh, Yeah, it's just Machine. And
And
it's
this is
funny
how
because
I got into the Russian mafia.
they call me Machine. So, yeah, no, it's funny because you can get, or I ended up with that title getting soft locked because when you go into Machine's room, you can't exit, and my characters were woefully underprepared. And so it was just a matter of not being able to beat Machine, but not also being able to go back, and then not having any means to teleport out of the factory that Machine is in. So
What?
there's a story behind that one too. And then in Final Fantasy Legend 2, of course, it's not Machine anymore, it's War Mach, and then it's like War Mech in the different
Right,
Final
right. Yep.
Fantasies depending on what you play. I don't remember if it was in Final Fantasy Legend 3. I don't think it was. I know it was in Legend 1 and 2, so that's where I know it from. But also, of course, it's on the NES. It's like a rare encounter or whatever, and it's very, very difficult. So
I don't even know if they have them in the PlayStation games either.
I think I think they do, but as kind of a like in final. I don't know if they have mobs. They're not like boss fight mobs though that are um Machine or whatever. It's just like a regular mob encounter, but it has the same kind of art style as Machine. But I don't know. I'd have to look up the article for it. But
Oh, interesting.
Machine has, or War Mech has, kind of an interesting number of appearances throughout the Final Fantasy series. Needless to say. So what what's the most frustrating moment that you've experienced in a video game? I'm sure you've got plenty of those.
Oh, let me see here. Frustrating. Uh Chrono Trigger jet bike race. That was frustrating. So
Yeah, it's funny, because I don't know that much about Chrono Trigger, but I've seen multiple clips now of people getting that achievement, like Bud Cave, um, who was on the podcast, Bud Cave TV. He's a streamer, awesome guy, also
Yep.
runs
I saw him that.
yeah, he also runs the other retro related podcasts
Yep.
that they're doing an awesome job with over there. Saw his clip of that, and yeah, because I don't know much about that achievement, but how many to give somebody like me who has no insight into that achievement idea, how long can that take to get that type of or that particular achievement? Like, is it something where you can just keep retrying it over and over again,
Oh
or is
yeah.
it something where uh you have to spend some time to get back to that point? Like, how does the bike race work?
No, pretty much you get a key from one of the people you meet, and then you go there. Then he's like, all right, well, you can either race the bike across this area, you beat me to win to get out, or you walk through it. But so you can race from one side to another, and he's like, oh, you beat me. We can race anytime. So then you can go back. Uh, you got to get a race log so you can change the view mode, which makes it a little bit easier because you can switch it to the front view, so instead of the side view, so you can do that as many times as you want, you win or lose. So it's a good thing. Usually,
Gotcha. Okay.
usually if you're not good at it, it you usually takes, I don't know. It took me about like hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. And if you're a charred monk, it takes you 45 minutes.
Okay, so there's definitely a little bit of time investment there and mastery and practice to
Definitely,
overcome
definitely.
some of those things. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I appreciate you clarifying that because yeah, I've seen multiple people get it. I don't know the achievement or the title that well, so having a little bit of insight into that specific achievement and what it means to accomplish it from an outside perspective kind of gives me um a little bit more of a mind of kind of how difficult it actually is.
Oh yeah, it's frustrating indeed. Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, no, that one definitely looks like something that's a little bit difficult. So,
Yeah, Bud's reaction at the end is a perfect expression because I did the same thing. It was like, ah!
gotcha. Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I think I've seen like two or three videos of people getting that achievement. Every time it's just a it's a great moment in their lives. I can tell. I
Oh
can I
yeah.
can very easily tell. Um, do you play games outside of retro achievements much?
Oh my god, I gotta be truthful. I want to, but then it's like, I mean, do people want to see this? Do people not want to see this? So like like with Master Quest, I'm kind of just trying to like quietly try to badge that one. So but other times without, if it's not on RA, yeah, I got a ton of games on Steam that I try to play. Like I was saying earlier, waiting for everything to start. I was just on Final Fantasy 14, just running my white mage.
Gotcha. Okay, so you do play a little bit outside of the retro achievements, venture outside of the norm. Um, Speaking of that and diving a little bit more into it, do you so I think you said that you don't own any modern gaming consoles, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about modern gaming in general? Because this is a big thing for a lot of people that either listen to the show or been on this show. Is just some people like me are very set in their ways of just can't play modern titles, uh not can't but won't, um and just really enjoy retro titles. I mean, I'll play things as, like I said, as late as PS2, but beyond that, it's just really not for me. And then you have people that they are a little more varied in what they play. They really like, a wide variety of games, everything from retro to all the way to modern. So how do you what's your take on modern gaming in general, would you say?
It's going to come down to a point where we all gather in a park, like Anchorman 2, and we all just go at it. No, I kid. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you want to play fork knife? Go right ahead. Um, everyone has their own taste. I mean, if I don't know, people want to play modern, like I said, I mean, that's your prerogative. I mean, it, I think it gets to the point though where if someone out there playing modern and they're like, "Oh man, retro," it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. I mean, just don't rain on my parade. I won't rain on yours.
For sure. That's very well put. That we all have different preferences, and as long as you aren't uh interfering with how other people enjoy games, and they're not, interfering with how you enjoy games, and we all kind of can live collectively as gamers without drama, right?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I'm gonna say like when I got my new computer built. I mean, one of the I did play some new stuff. I mean, I fired up Apex Legends. I mean, just to see what it was all about, and also to test this baby out. And I had fun. I mean, it was great. Just doing everything. It's like, yeah, this is enjoyable.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I for sure. And again, it's like you said, it's just a matter of, you know, neither community should gatekeep one another, or make people feel bad for playing a certain game, because
Definitely.
what someone might see as, like, a sharp stick in the eye to uh them in terms of the enjoyment, that to another person is a sunny day on the beach in California,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's
definitely,
like
definitely.
it's crazy how varied people's taste is depending on the person. So I can definitely appreciate your thought on that, and I share the same thing. Like, there's a lot of games I don't like, but I could at least see why somebody else might enjoy that title or might enjoy that particular game. Um, I mean, I'll admit, even I played Fortnite a little bit just to try it, to kind of see what it's about. Definitely, definitely not my game, but uh, you
Yeah, the
know,
the shooting. Yeah, I can shoot people, no problem. Building, the building's maybe a little bit of turn off.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that for that particular game, that's just a turn off for a lot of people, especially because if you ever watch like a clip of someone who plays that game really well, that seems to be really
Right? They're shooting
central.
and building. It's like Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, that seems to be really central to playing that game on a high level. So, um, what would you say are some of your favorite gaming memories from your childhood?
Hmm. I played a lot of Final Fantasy too, so that was that game has a nice special place in my heart. Along like I said, along with the Castlevania 3. Um, huh. Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, no, I mean, by all means, I think I think a lot of these, especially with, it seems like for RPGs for a lot of us, because we've had a lot of guests on the show at this point, a lot of RPG fans, one as well, of course. Um, for retro achievements, it's really tough for me to get into RPGs just because they're so, I don't like to spend
80
shoot.
achievements. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 120 achievements. No, I think I think that it's really just I don't like to spend more than a couple weeks, and a couple weeks is stretching it on a game at most, because I like to play a lot of different games. And people always tell me, well, you know what, you can always come back to it. But I guess, like I said, I'm not competitive necessarily on retro achievements. I'm kind of
Right,
just doing my own thing, but I like to keep my completion. I like to at least have my completion percentage somewhat up there and try and I like to finish things that I start, I guess would be the way to put it. And so
right,
with
right,
RPGs there's definitely a big commit. Although, I mean, there are some shorter RPGs. A lot of the RPGs that have come out for Game Boy have been pretty short and sweet. And so there is kind of that happy medium that you can shoot for. But with a lot of these, like PlayStation 1 or Game Boy Advance or Super Nintendo RPGs, they just take a lot of time that I realistically feel like I just don't have at this point. I've
right.
got a lot of other things going on outside of retro
Oh yeah,
achievements. So
definitely.
I want to be able to I want to be able to have that 1 to 2 weeks of focus to put into a game, just crush it, hopefully, every time. Although it doesn't always work out like that, and
Oh yeah,
then kind of just move on to the next game. That's kind of my style.
right. I mean, I'll admit, I'll usually be the one going, doing all the bitching, and still be the one going, yeah, I'm trying to get to level 100 still.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, those, yeah, especially grindy achievements and just
I mean,
the
I'll do
way.
them.
Yeah, no, I'll do them. I'll do them for sure. It's just like a lot of the times it can be something I would much rather spend other my time elsewhere. So, but I mean, I back when I think PlayStation Achievements came out September of 2019. I want to say, I did play Final Fantasy 7. It took me, of course, this was back when pre-pandemic, so I was driving to the office every day. But this was it took me 2.5 months, something like that. So I
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
think we'll be doing any of those PlayStation Final Fantasy ones. It's like,
Those
eh.
ones are rough. Those ones are rough. I've experienced them, and then I've watched people experience them, and both are um, painful. It's nothing against the authors of the sets because they're RPGs, so there should be a lot of varied and unique challenges, but they do take a lot of time. So that's something you have to know what you're getting into, right?
Yes, it's like I'll just watch Max and Pulse if I want to see the pain.
You know where to get your
I do.
you know where to get your source of pain. I
Oh yeah.
like it. So, um, kind of talking a little bit, speaking of streaming and watching people. I know that you're streaming quite a bit on Twitch, streaming retro achievements, which is fantastic. Something I'm hoping to kind of get back into here in the coming months. I've taken quite a long hiatus, but
Rock and roll.
uh, yeah, nonetheless, tell me a little bit about how you got started with streaming on Twitch.
Oi. So I had a friend who was streaming like Rocket League, I think, and it's like, huh. Well, that's cool. I mean, what's going on here? And it's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm making friends, hanging out. I'm like, all right, how do you do that? So he's like, oh yeah, it's twitch.tv. And like, he's like, used to be Justin something. It's like, okay. So he just came over. He showed me how to set it up, and I was pretty much hooked from there. So it's like, well, this is fun. Let's do this. So I've been here since 2017. So
Gotcha. So you
that's
kind of
about it.
just dove right into it
Oh
and
yeah,
just kind of got started with it, and it's been that way ever since. Okay. I think that's really the best way to get into Twitch anyway as a streamer. A lot of folks that I mean, just about everybody actually, as a matter of fact, that we've had on the podcast has kind of said that just don't be afraid to just kind of put yourself out there and just, hit the go button and kind of refine things over time and improve your stream a little bit. But just, you have to just take the plunge, right? You have to do that what's, I don't know what it's called, but when people go and they like go into the lake when it's like the coldest at the start of the season or
The
whatever.
polar
You know,
bear.
just
Yep.
yeah, yeah. You just have to kind of take the plunge. So, um, standing out though from the crowd on Twitch can be kind of tough. You know, there are a lot of similar streams out there. So, in your opinion, what do you feel like makes your stream unique from other streams on Twitch?
I just be myself. Actually, I mean, myself is a little extreme though because I'm an unmedicated ADHD person. So we get bouncy, we get crazy.
I like it. No, I like it for sure. It, I think that's. I mean, if you could give people any piece of advice, I think that's the biggest one. You know, is just be yourself. You know, there's all these people that are. I mean, I've been watching Twitch for, I think over. I mean, yeah, at this point, pretty close to probably over 10 years, maybe 9 or 10 years. And there's all these people that are trying to be wild and crazy. You know, or they're
Oh
trying to
yeah.
just kind of be. They're trying to be kind of a character, and I think being yourself um, is a big thing. I didn't mean to cut you off
Oh
though.
no
What
no
were
no
you
no.
saying?
Uh, yeah, I mean, they try to be show busy and everything. I mean,
Yeah,
I try to
yeah.
be a little show busy too, I guess, but that's honestly not me trying to be show busy. That's kind of my ADHD taking over every again because I might blurt out like, "Stevie, you idiot," and they think that's funny, but like, yeah, that's just me impulsing on my brain. But hey, whatever.
Well, I will say much respect to you for just being yourself and having people take it or leave it because I think it's what does make a lot of streams stand out is the streamer's personality and just being not being too show busy and just being a real person on stream. I think that's what honestly with the retro community at least what really keeps me involved in these people's streaming lives because I'm always popping into people's streams and admittedly a little bit less now, but always kind of popping into streams and seeing, what's going on with people and kind of where they're at with things because they're very relatable, right? They're people that, they're just very personable and you don't feel like you're talking to a lot of people say this to me as well as you don't feel like you're talking to one of those big giant streamers, you feel like you're just talking to a friend.
Oh, definitely. I
Yeah,
enjoy those.
yeah, and that's what I think. I mean, I say this all the time over and over again, but it makes the community such a great community is just that uh the people in the community that stream like just they're just regular people, they're not these like show business types or they're not in it for the money. Most
That's
of these people that have sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that's one of the reasons why I also hang out. I mean, with Game Squad, Pulse XP, Chard Monk, and the rest. It's just you go in, you talk to them. They try to talk to everybody. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that's the biggest thing is you can actually connect with the streamer and have a really great conversation with them and they're like, "Oh, how's your achievements going?" and kind of check in and have a little bit of a dialogue back and forth and cheer them on as they're going through it. Just all those little moments really are what encompass the retro community, especially the retro achievements community so well is just we're almost like a small family in a way where we all kind of just know each other and we're all just actively working on different things and there's just such a great sense of community about it.
Definitely,
So
definitely. I mean, I might leave bitchy comments every now and again on a few of the Chivos, but I'm a good dude.
yeah, I would say so. I mean, we only have good people on this show, so you're here.
Yay!
There's the proof. uh, um, but getting back to my questions here, I didn't mean to go off on a little bit of a tangent like that, but
It's okay. Sorry, I might have started away myself.
no, you're fine. You're fine. What what kind of steers the direction of what games you decide to stream? I know I asked you a little bit about how you choose what you're going to play on retro achievements, and at least my interpretation of what you said is just that you kind of just pick what seems like might be fun for you and kind of just go with it.
Exactly. Yep.
Um, Do you have a method? Is there a method to your madness for what types of games you feel like you're going to pick for stream, or what types of games you feel like make for the best streams? Do you think?
um, hmm. uh, a lot of the times, most of the games that get played. See, there's which brings us back to the Wolverine thing. I have a play my game point redemption. So the reason why I got the Wolverine and the one that why reason why I also streamed it was because the redemption was made, and it's like I saw the set. It's like okay, yeah, I can. It's just a simple play and beat game. It's like yeah, that works with my Chivo points. The redemption is like yes. So a lot of times that's one of the reasons of the games we play.
Okay, that makes sense. So you have like a point redemption system. Yeah. I've always thought about getting one. I just know that my friends would just for me, I feel like they would troll me so hard and pick so many games I'm bad at.
A reason why I have the Beetlejuice game badge.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, um I suppose I could have the game be at my discretion, so I could refund them their channel points if I feel like uh it's just not going to work for me. But
Oh yeah,
I would always feel bad doing that, so I've generally steered away from that, but I think it is an excellent reward for people that, do watch your stream to be able to kind of pick your poison about what you have to endure. So,
definitely. I'm playing through freaking 007 GoldenEye right now.
right,
The
right.
achievements aren't working, and that's okay. I'm on agent mode. Holy heck! This is the first playthrough for me, and my God, I am having fun. It is freaking amazing. I was talking about amazing with Shadowgate 64. The feeling is back with GoldenEye. I hear like, wow, this is awesome. I missed this on the 64. Whatever. I'm having fun now. This is great.
Yeah, that's a tough title. I mean, I I have actually picked up that title I think at least twice and put it down just because of I I don't think I wouldn't say I quit it, but I just like have moments where I want to play it and the moments where I don't. I think I still have my save file, but I remember it being decently far. I think there's like what 140 something achievements in it.
141.
Yeah, and I'm at like 10 something, so I'm decently far at it. And one of my goals or one of my things I never did as a kid, I guess, is I never beat every level on double O agent difficulty. So that is a big part of the set is doing that. So I want to be able to do that at some point. I think that is a title I will pick up down the road and kind of finish off because I want the badge for sure.
Right,
It's a good
right.
looking badge.
It's worth 1070, so
Yeah, yeah, definitely a tough set though, and definitely a tough. I mean, it's a tough game, man. I mean, one bullet, getting hit by one bullet in Double O Agent is 1 point of health. It's pretty.
right. I'm
It's
not
pretty.
going to
It's
do it
pretty rough.
myself because I really don't have the controllers that's going to be working with it. So it's like, yeah, nope, nope.
Yeah, that's tough too. I know because for N64 games, you know, uh, I the way I have N64 set up is I have the actual hardware and then I have it converted to a USB adapter. But if you don't have the actual hardware, like that's literally the only system that I actually use an N64 controller for. Every other system I use 8-bit DOE, which is like a third party controller. But for N64 games, just because the controller is so unique and mapping the controls would be a little bit annoying for uh, a third party, I felt like it's easier to just use the actual hardware.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So um, do you have any favorite moments that have happened during one of your streams? Any moments that stand out to you?
As in playing the video games or just the moments.
Let's go with both. Let's make it a wide open question. I've definitely put you on the spot a lot today, so let me give you a breather.
One of the moments that did happen, even though I know the dude gets, I don't know, grief for some odd reason, but I had Mike Matei come in while I was playing Turtles, and gave me a follow, talked a bit, and then took off. That was freaking awesome.
Oh wow, okay, the Mike Matei,
The
huh?
Mike
Okay.
Matei, yeah.
Jeez. Well, that would definitely be a moment. I would certainly categorize that as one for sure. So, um, what would you say? Because you've been streaming, I think you said for about 4 years. What have you learned during your time as a streamer?
Not everybody you meet is a friend.
Okay.
That's
Can
yeah.
you? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you think you're making friends, but then all of a sudden, it comes out that there are people out there that trying to just go around making friends for themselves, and you got
Oh
to be
yeah,
careful.
for sure,
You got to be
for
careful
sure.
out there. Protect yourself. I mean, it's a big world, and there's a lot of hurt and heart, hurt and heartache.
Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, I think there's, and this isn't pointed towards anyone specific. Obviously, it's
Nope,
just
nope.
something you see from time to time. But you do see people that are kind of just, they're kind of the like scratch my back, I'll scratch yours exclusively type of folks
Yep,
who.
like the follow for follows out there and everything.
Yeah, yeah, that type of thing. I get that. I mean, if you really like someone's content, then you don't need to shill out follow for follow. You just like their content, you follow them, and you naturally have interactions with them versus like the people that are always just kind of trying. Like, I don't. I think there's kind of a fine line, right?
Definitely, definitely.
There's like this fine line of. I think it's awesome that people try and grow their streams and try and do networking. It's just when people become very artificial and plastic about it that you kind of question their motives or if they actually are,
Exactly.
if they actually even enjoy, the genre that they're involved in. So I completely understand what you meant by that. I wasn't, yeah, I was just kind of trying to get a better sense of what specifically you're talking about. But
Yep.
I definitely, thankfully, in the retro community, we don't see a whole lot of that because everyone. I mean, if you're going to play a game that's got janky controls or has got janky graphics, chances are you're not going to torture yourself that much. There's always those rare exceptions, but that's I think that's great advice for anyone that's out there is just be aware of who you interact with and what their motives are, and
Exactly,
don't
exactly.
question everyone's motives, but there, like you said, there's a lot of
There are friends out there. There's a
there are
lot
many
of
friends. Yeah.
friends, but
Yeah.
there's also a lot of people that pretend to be that aren't. So always
Good point.
protect.
Good point. Very good point. Well said. So, do you have any advice for people who are, let's say, they're interested in streaming, but they're not really sure how to go about getting started?
YouTube. I've had a lot of information given to me about streaming from YouTube, like 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 with my OBS scenes and everything. If I got questions on like, all right, so how do I do this? I'm usually straight to YouTube, like, show me, teach me.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, YouTube is a great source of information about how to get your stream set up. And, touching back on something that we talked a little bit about earlier, it's kind of just about putting yourself out there and then just kind of refining the stream over time rather than, trying to have this perfect stream set up right from the get-go. And YouTube is a great resource in order to be able to kind of make those tweaks to your stream
It
to
is.
make
It
it
is.
make it a better stream for
I
sure. I've
mean,
learned I've learned a lot off YouTube. So
I mean, I'm always improving. I mean, heck, I'm still improving.
yeah, no, I think we all are streamers. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect stream, I don't think. At least in terms of the setup. Everybody does it a little bit differently and you just kind of fall into a style.
Definitely.
So
Oh,
uh,
and if you ever have idea blocks. I mean, like I think Shroom was the one that said this. If you need to go out, explore Twitch, borrow a little of this, borrow little bit of that, and sooner or later, I mean, you can put stuff together, from other people too.
Yeah, that's no, that's great advice. Is look at what other people are doing. That's like how I got my heart rate monitor. Dan Carnett had it set up, and I thought it was a great idea, especially because I get really amped up when I'm doing a really crazy achievement, and so um, my heart rate just skyrockets, and uh, I have a very bodily response, I guess you could say, to difficult difficult achievements, as most of us do.
Oh yeah,
Typically followed by a scream when successful,
definitely.
right?
Yes.
So, uh, we talked a little bit about how you got started and your origin story. So I wanted to follow that up with how did you come up with your name, the Gaming Chef? What is the history behind that?
Well, it's actually pretty simple. I do have a culinary degree and I play video games.
Okay. I know that I think you've mentioned that a little bit on your Twitter as well, that you do you work professionally now as a chef, or
I am working in a hospital at the moment, so it's all good.
okay, I gotcha. I gotcha.
I mean, I'd like to try to expand as soon as we can hopefully get back to normal sooner or later. But
Right, right, right. Yeah.
I mean, things are what they are, So I mean, we survive.
Yeah, I mean it's tough with the coronavirus. It's obviously put a big pause on a lot of our lives. Unfortunately, some people are loving work from home, and I was one of those people for because I've been work from home for a little over a year. But uh, after a while, I don't think it works for me, at least. It's just too. I talked about this when we had Lyradel on not that long ago, but it's just so difficult to have such minimal human interaction. I think everyone, even if you like being alone, you like to have a little bit of interaction with people every once in a while, which the virus has kind of put a big pause on. So I can only imagine what working in a hospital is like. I'm sure that's pretty difficult for you. So you have my respect for kind of just surviving, like you said. That's kind of what we're all doing at the moment, right?
Definitely.
So, um, do you have any favorite hobbies or things that you like to do outside of gaming?
Um, going to the movies. I mean, I'm pretty much one of those people that just stays in his door and plays video games all day. I mean, if if I could find more people to play online games, I mean, that's what I'm down for. I mean, like Sea of Thieves. We all get together play Sea of Thieves. That's great. Phasmophobia, heck yeah. So I'm big into that. I mean, when I do leave the house, pretty much it's just like shopping, food, or movies. So yeah,
Yeah, no, I will say that it's always a really I don't know if it's an awkward conversation, but um it's just one of those conversations where when people ask me, for example, my when I'm getting to know coworkers at a new job, sometimes they're it's like, so what do you like to do? Well, I
video
like to play
games,
video games. So what else
right?
do you like to do?
Nothing.
Not a whole lot else. I'm kind of like that's my life. I
Yep.
mean,
And then you get weird looks like, "Are you okay?" Yes. What was your
it's like,
childhood?
yeah. I mean, I will say, growing up as a kid, um, there are obviously always video games around. Played a lot of video games, and like my mom, she would try and sometimes when this was the worst. This is why this might be one of the reasons that I hate summer the most, is because it reminds me of my mom being like, "It's such a nice day. Why don't you go out?" And I think that's a perfectly legitimate response as a parent, especially because growing up, you know, even more so, when I was a kid, 15, 20 years ago, video games had even less prevalence, maybe, I guess you could say a little bit, in terms of what people do, spending their free time, just kind of killing time. But they'd be like, she'd always be like, it's such a nice day. Why don't you go out? Just be like, oh, God. She'd say it every day in the summer and just drive me crazy.
Which brings my mind back to the meme of 4-player Mario Kart being projection down to the side of a building. Like, I'm outside, mom. What now?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I totally get that, as a parent, you want your kids to get physical activity. Uh, so as I get a little bit older, I realize that my body apparently wants that too, because it starts to kind of yell at you in ways. But
Oh yeah.
um,
Oh.
yeah, yeah, the aches and the creaks. I remember it was funny. We were actually recording. We had just finished recording a podcast, and um, I'm getting up, and I have no idea how this happened, but I get up and I just have a wave of shooting pain go through me.
Ooh,
Couldn't walk for almost a week. Did
yeah.
something to my back, and I was like, man, I really must be old
I
because, like,
just stood up.
I literally just I must have gotten up too fast, or I twisted, something happened, and I could not, I mean, for
Oh.
literally almost a week I could not walk, and it was like I have no idea what happened. But thankfully, that has only happened, I think, once. But yeah, something happened, man. It was, I just remember, because we're on the podcast now. That's the only reason I remember is your
Wait, are we meant to live this long? I mean, I know back in the 1900s we only lived to 35, like Mr. Meeseeks. I
yeah.
lived way too long. This is starting to get weird.
It is weird, man, because we as human beings, we're continuing to live longer and longer. It almost kind of makes you wonder, how long does this go on? Not to be negative,
What,
but I mean,
what kind
eventually.
of forces of nature are we dealing with? Are we playing too much with life?
I think it's just weird when you think about it, because time is such a uh, not to get off topic, but time is such a subjective thing. So it's just like, a day or even an hour can feel like forever when you're bored or the time isn't filled. But then as you get older, the time seems to just almost fast forward. It's
Oh,
like we're
definitely.
it's like we're in RetroArch and we're hitting spacebar, but in real
Listen, I,
life.
I, I swear I was 12 a freaking second ago. What happened?
I think most of us, though, I think if we could go back and do it all again and enjoy those moments, we certainly would, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, um, uh, do you play any kind of sports, or are we 100% video game focused?
My parents made me play baseball, basketball, and cross country.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I was same. I was like, oh yeah, let's get you involved with this. And I literally, dude, I have two left feet. It's like the worst, most. I am not shy about admitting my faults, and I am extremely unathletic. Got two left feet. I don't know if I got it from my dad or my mom, but
I
yeah,
I I
yeah,
hated basketball.
yeah.
The one memory that sticks out in basketball was I'm pretty sure it was a game up in Madison, and you know the other team was of course a lot better than us, and I just remember running down to one side of the thing and having to turn around and run back to the other side of the thing, and then all of a sudden it got run down. I mean, no ball being passed to me, and I just remember looking over to the side, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure they were laughing at me, but it's like, yeah, I know. Just please leave me alone.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I was like, I mean, I played basketball as a kid, and there's just boys and girls club teams or whatever, or something like that. And I remember guarding a kid, and literally just it was one of the worst experiences because I'm just guarding this kid, and he's literally just pushing and shoving me the whole time, and I was just about ready to sock the dude. Um, and I'm just like, is this what basketball is? I don't think this is what basketball is, but anyway,
I don't like this.
yeah. I mean, I think I think exercise is important, but I think
Yes.
sports are just something that, yeah,
Ugh.
it's not my deal. Um, Last question that I have for you, and then we'll wrap things up here.
All right.
And again, I do appreciate you having a. I think we had a great conversation, and really
It's been a
appreciate you.
pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've been looking forward to this particular interview for a long time. So, um, tell us a fun fact about yourself. It can be, or our audience rather. It could be anything. Something people might not expect from you, and yeah, we'll go from there.
A fun fact. I'm not too sure. Uh, I've been married for over 20 years and I've got two teenagers. I
That's a fun
guess.
fact. That's a fun fact. That's a lot of responsibility.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
When I keep on trying to tell them it's nice outside, go outside, and all they do is stay on their computer and on their tablet.
Oh God, yeah, it's like me all over again, but 20 years later. So. Well, kudos to you on being married for 20 years. That's um, a big commitment, and I'm sure that you must make somebody very happy in your life. So
I do.
good, good deal. Well, again, Chef, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me today. I really appreciate having you here. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share with our audience before we wrap things up?
Do not start RA for the love of God. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, it's fun. It challenges you. Um, Everybody should do it. Yes.
Yeah, please get started on retro achievements. We've got obviously the link in the description below about uh, how to get started and all that good stuff. So, Chef, that is all the questions that we have for you today. So, to the people at home, thank you for listening to the RA podcast. We really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. If you like today's episode, don't forget to like the video and hit the bell to be notified when future episodes go live. And please do feel free to let us know in the comments what other guests you would like to see on the RA podcast. That's it for today, guys, and we'll see you next time.